What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Please do not forget to subscribe down below and to keep up with these videos, and give us a like down below and leave a comment down on if you found this video insightful. Today I'm going to be talking about a financial term that a lot of us hear, but we might not necessarily know what it means. Emergency fund, right? When someone says emergency fund, what exactly do they mean? So emergency fund, one expected expense could completely destroy someone financially. A car repair, a medical bill, a job loss. Like, you could be working and then one day with AI, what we got going on in this specific economy, you're laid off. Emergency travel. This is why your emergency fund matters. This is why it's important. It's because it's the amount of money that you have saved up. So let's break it down. What exactly is an emergency savings fund? An emergency savings fund is exactly what's in the term, emergency. It's money set aside specifically for unexpected situations. So this is not your vacation money. This is not your spending money. This is not money that you're taking to pay your bills. This is not for random purchases that you just wake up one day and you just want to buy something and you buy it. This is not the fund where you're taking this money out from, right? This is an emergency only fund. So in case of a random car repair, or in case, let's say, you need this to help out a family member, right? This is the money that you're using. This money is meant to protect you from financial emergencies. Think of it as a financial safety net, because life is unpredictable. It just throws stuff at us. So the most important thing that you have to understand is that you have to have a safety net. You have to have a safety net that allows you to pull money from it, right? And not to be not taking money from everything else where you're paying your bills from, or where your money to invest, but you're taking this emergency money fund, this money from your emergency fund, and you're able to use it in cases of emergencies. So the reason why most people need it is that a lot of people rely solely and entirely on their paychecks. So when something unexpected happens, they turn to credit cards, they turn to loans, they turn to debt. And one of the things you'll realize is that, okay, imagine you enter a time where you lose your job and everything in life is just going bad. Like, you lose your job, a family member is asking for money because, let's say, they need help because another family member is sick, right? This is just an example, but this is the most extreme case. And then for you, the most important thing is, okay, I have to find a way to help out everybody. I have to find a way to help myself, because now I have to support myself, especially in this economy that we're in. You might mess around and lose your job and not have a job for a whole year. And I've seen it happen to people. So I could tell you, like, it's crazy out here, right? So what ends up happening is people get on credit card debt, and they end up taking money from their credit card, using their credit card consistently, right? But a credit card is only used to build your credit. It's not supposed to be used as another source of income. I think this is where people get it misconstrued. They take their credit card as some form of, like, it's another form of income, right? If your credit card balance is 3,000 or 2,500, they see that as, okay, that's extra money. You see, but that's where your mind is messed up, because I'm pretty sure when you look at any credit card company, or you look at, like, out of a Bank of America, or any company that offers a credit card, they're happy. If you think about credit cards as free money, they're happy that you're thinking like that, because what ends up happening is you use this credit card money, and then what ends up happening is you're not able to pay this money back, and you end up going into debt, right? You end up going into debt, you end up owing on this, and depending on whatever the interest rate is on that credit card, you're paying that every month, and every month it's racking up, every month it's compounding. So the more and more months you allow to not pay, the more and more months you miss out on payments, that's the more money you're going to be paying on interest. So just think of that. That's usually what happens to people. And these small problems usually become long-term financial stress for people. So an emergency fund is here to alleviate that. It's a gives you a sort of a breathing room so that you're not in a space where you feel constrained to use a credit card, or you have to go and take loans, or you have to go get into debt just to live, right? So this is how you should save. A common recommendation, usually you'll hear these finance guys talking about 3 to 6 months of living expenses. Me, I think that information is outdated. I think especially now it's outdated. I think you have to build up an emergency fund from 6 to 12 months. So if you were just to get fired tomorrow and they told you you're not going to have a job, then you are able to fund your life for the next 6 to 12 months. That's how I think. That's how I think about it. Right? And I don't even want to say 6 to 12 months, like 8 to 12 months realistically. So that means enough money to cover your essentials like rent. Where if you live, if you're like in your early 20s and you still live with your parents, that's good, right? That's a positive. Stay for as long as possible. Don't rush that process, right? Everybody has a different life, right? You don't need to see what other people are doing on social media and let that get to you, right? Because everybody's different. So and live with your parents for as long as possible, as long as you can, to the point where okay, you set yourself up financially, and then once you get older, that 27, 28, 29 mark, then you can move out, right? But this money is supposed to be covering your rent, food, utilities, transportation, insurance, all your bills that you have, all your minimum bills that you have. That's in the case that you get fired, or you get something happens in an extreme case that you don't have a job anymore. That money is supposed to cover you for that entire duration, right? So one thing you have to understand is that a lot of people hear these big numbers in their emergency fund and they feel overwhelmed. But your goal doesn't just need to be 10,000. You could start with 500, then you can start and build that to 1,000, then you could build that to 2,000, 3,000. You build it gradually from wherever you're at, right? This money is set aside from whatever money you pay your bills with, whatever money. So you're not using this emergency fund to pay your bills. That's not what it's for. This emergency fund is a cushion, it's a safety net, right? So any money you're getting, let's say you get money and you make money from in your checking account and it direct deposits. So you make money, it direct deposits. So you take a chunk of that out, you put it in your savings, you take some of that, the rest of that money into investing, and then you take some of your paycheck and then you pay the bills you got to pay on a month to month basis. So think about it like that. So if your monthly expenses are 2,500, a solid emergency fund could be anywhere from 7,500 to 15,000. And I think, a lot of people say that's extreme, right? But if you really want to be realistic, 7,500 to 10,000 would be the best thing, right? But everybody's situation is a little bit different. So if your income is unstable, you may want a larger emergency saving fund. If you still live at home or you have lower expenses, you might need less. So it depends on the person, it depends on their situation, it depends on how exactly in the lifestyle that they're living. So think about it like this. Don't think about a lump sum of money, but think about building this over time, right? So you have months to build this out, but just hurry. That's my thing. Like, be intentional and set a goal for yourself and try to obtain that goal. Do not just sit here and, how could I say this? Do not just sit there and, okay, if you have a goal of 5,000 to save up, and then you just, as the months go by, you start to lose sight of whatever goal that you had in mind, right? And don't be a procrastinator on this goal. Be intentional. So procrastination is the killer. It's really an enemy of whatever goals that you have, or wherever you see yourself being in a few years. That's usually what happens if you procrastinate on any idea, or if you're not intentional with whatever it is that you're doing with a goal that you set out, then you're not going to achieve that. So you have to be intentional with this goal, whatever mark that you set out for, whether it's 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. You're a little bit younger and that's the goal that you set out for yourself, or if you're a little bit older, you're in your high 20s, you're in your 30s, and you need more of a, let's say you have a family, it could be 10,000 and up, 15,000 and up. So it depends on your situation. It depends on your financial situation. So your emergency fund should be safe, it should be accessible, and it should be separate from everyday spending. This is what I was telling you guys before. This is not a fund where you should just be taking money consistently to be funding like your lifestyle. Like, this is not that account. This is not that type of fund, right? Many people, what they do is they usually keep this money in a high yield savings account, right? So they're earning some type of interest on this uh money that they're saving up. So they're not just putting in a regular Bank of America savings account, or a regular Chase savings account, or a Wells Fargo account that's not earning them any interest, but they put it in a high yield savings account, and that's how they're able to make money off of saving their money. So this is not money. This money is not meant to be for risky investments. It's meant to be a safe haven. It's meant to be uh, uh, a nest egg for your foundation of your money. Then everything else you make after that, you can invest. You can, if you have a business idea that you have, you can start with the rest of the money that you have. Don't take this emergency fund money and go do other stuff with it. So that's, understand the priorities. An emergency fund, it's not exciting, right? But financially, it can change everything in your life, because wealth isn't just about making money, but it's about having a foundation, right? Preserving your money and being able to protect yourself when life gets difficult, when life gets hard. And having savings gives you something powerful. It gives you the ability to be free in the event that you lose your job, to be free in the event that you uh something happens, right? A major accident or a major emergency, right? It allows you to have that peace of mind. Okay, like, I just lost my job, but I have this emergency savings fund that got me for the next 8 to 12 months while I'm looking for another job, or while I'm trying to start a business, whatever it is. So thank you for listening down below. Thank you for listening, and thank you for, actually, if you learned something from this video, comment down below, let me know what you think, and continue to watch, right? Subscribe down below, comment down below what you think, and go check out my website, eawealthteam.com. I have a few guides on there that can help you start with your financial journey. And if you want to do one-on-one consulting with me, I also have that on my website. So thank you for watching. Do not forget to subscribe. Peace.